You're changing. I know. I went through exactly the same thing at your age.
No, not exactly.
An awkward teenage boy grows muscles overnight, discovers how to shoot a sticky white substance out of his body, and starts feeling like a big adult hero. Is the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man story really just about a superhero teen? Or is this all actually a romanticized metaphor for male puberty?
What happened to your voice?
What do you mean, what happened to my voice?
I heard you by the bridge. I know what a girl sound like.
I'm not a girl, I'm a boy. I mean, I'm a male.
I know it's really hard trying to fit in with all the changes your body's going through. It's flowering now.
Before we go on, we're excited to tell you a little bit about this video's sponsor, Vincero. Vincero makes luxury watches with an attention to detail and focus on craftsmanship that you won't find anywhere else, all at an affordable price. So click the link in the description below and treat yourself. In Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man, Peter is bitten by the genetically modified spider right after interacting with his crush. So it's almost like this bite is a symbolic erection. It happens as Peter is having these feelings of lust.
Don't make me look ugly.
That's impossible.
And it triggers an intense physical reaction. Later, he learns to shoot webs. And we're not the first to observe that this substance could be a stand-in for semen.
How far can you shoot your webs?
Be warned that seeing Spider-Man as a puberty metaphor will definitely change your experience of these movies.
I see the web, and it's his signature, and I know Spider-Man was here.
We tend to think of spiders as being creepy crawlies, but being Spider-Man is a cool masculine version of the spider thing.
Easy, bug boy.
And likewise, the Spider-Man story makes puberty, which often feels horrifying, into something aspirational and exciting.
Yeah, a kid who can stop a bus with his bare hands.
Peter has a lot of fun experimenting with his new ability to produce this white substance.
Web grenade.
Web grenade!
And while we usually think of having fun with yourself in your room as kind of embarrassing, Peter makes this into something badass. Real teen boys have to contend with things like acne, BO, and awkward facial hair during puberty. But in the Spider-Man story, a fun side effect of Peter's mutation is that he actually becomes more attractive and athletic. In the 2002 Spider-Man, his vision improves, so he no longer needs to wear glasses. He bulks up, conveniently without having to lift a single weight.
Be better this morning, any change?
Change? Yeah. Big change.
And he becomes super agile. So all of this plays on the fantasy that, at the height of our physical awkwardness, we could magically turn into the most gorgeous or confident versions of ourselves.
Wow, great reflexes.
You could say it's the male version of the ugly duckling makeover story that's often aimed at teen girls. It's also significant that Peter's love interest develops a crush on Spider-Man, and she doesn't realize this is actually Peter.
Oh my god, she's crushing on Spider-Man.
No way.
Kinda.
This girl is drawn to post-puberty Peter.
He saved my life twice, and I've never even seen his face.
You're the Spiderling, crime-fighting spider. You're Spider-Boy?
Spider-Man.
Peter Parker's transformation into Spider-Man isn't just physical, it's also about developing an adult masculinity. Spider-Man explores this process through father figures, or their absence.
Where is he? Where's my dad? He didn't think it was his responsibility to be here to tell me this himself.
Peter doesn't have an actual dad who's around in the Spider-Man movies. Instead, he may have a father figure he can't fully open up to,
And I know I'm not your father.
Then stop pretending to be.
or who he wants to be just like, even though he's not there yet.
I just wanted to be like you.
And I wanted you to be better.
Peter also comes up against some negative examples of what it means to be a man.
And those teeming masses exist for the sole purpose of lifting the few exceptional people onto their shoulders.
And I will be like a god to them.
For Peter, defeating these bad guys is rejecting negative models of masculinity.
You're young. You don't understand how the world works.
Yeah, but I understand that selling weapons to criminals is wrong.
He's trying hard to figure out for himself how to become a man.
Maybe he's too embarrassed to tell me what it is. Maybe I'm too embarrassed to ask him, you think?
Peter's story reflects how growing into your manhood can be lonely.
I know you sneak out of this house every night. That's not fine. Peter, you have to tell me what's going on.
And is something you largely have to do on your own, even if you do have better models than Peter does. In the end, he has to father himself and create his own ideal of what he thinks adult masculinity should look like. Earnest and sweet, not aggressive or power-hungry, lighthearted and not taking oneself too seriously.
What's up, guys? You got your PIN number?
And most of all, always showing up in times when you're needed.
Somebody's gotta look out for the little guy, right?
The Spider-Man story has a lot in common with Captain America: The First Avenger. Like Peter, Steve Rogers starts out as a scrawny but morally good person before he's transformed into a strong, buff version of himself.
How'd you feel?
This physical change is necessary for him to become a superhero, but the core identity that makes him Captain America was there all along, in his good heart.
So that you will stay who you are.
Not a perfect soldier, but a good man.
Peter Parker, if there's one thing you are, it's good.
If this is a story about puberty, it's underlining that puberty isn't just about physical changes and being able to get girls. It's also about developing emotionally into the adult identity you want to present to the world.
Peter, these are the years when a man changes into the man he's going to become the rest of his life.
And Spider-Man, like Captain America, emphasizes that this means holding on to the essence of who you are while evolving into the best version of yourself.
I'm nothing without this suit.
If you're nothing without this suit, then you shouldn't have it.
For Peter, that best self is sincere, sensitive, heartfelt, and makes sacrifices for the greater good.
Whatever life holds in store for me, I will never forget these words. With great power comes great responsibility.
But in the end, it's also okay for Peter to take his time growing up.
Stay close to the ground. Build up your game helping the little people.
Because we don't have to be in such a rush to be adults overnight.
Again, treating me like a kid all the time. It's not cool.
But you are a kid.
Hey guys, did you know that in Italian, vincero translates to I will win? These words really sum up the spirit of Vincero's luxury watches. They're all about confidence, class, and believing you deserve the best. In a market full of mass-produced minimalist watches, Vincero is raising the bar with its process. They source all their own material, including genuine Italian leather, Italian marble, sapphire glass, and surgical-grade stainless steel. Their watches are handcrafted and manufactured in small batches to ensure quality control. And they can afford to offer all of this for a fraction of the price of other luxury watches because they sell directly to customers. We actually have these watches ourselves, so we can testify to the true quality of what you're seeing. Vincero has lines for both men and women, and we love the elegance of the female line. A watch like this upgrades any look. We're not the only ones who love Vincero. They've received more than 12,000 five-star reviews on their site. So if you want a luxury timepiece at an affordable price point, look no further. Click the link in the description below to check out Vincero today.